Before you even click this reading, there was a quiet pull between your energy and theirs, a pull that hasn't faded, no matter how hard they try to ignore it. This message isn't random, and if you're here, it's because someone has been thinking about you far more than they ever admit. Welcome to Sophia, where hidden emotions rise to the surface and unspoken truths finally find their voice. Today, three powerful cards step forward together: the Lovers, the Moon, and the Knight of Cups. And their presence alone already tells us this connection is intense, emotional, and deeply complicated. They love you, but that love doesn't feel safe to them. Every time your name crosses their mind, their heart pulls forward while their fear pulls them back. The Lovers reveals a bond that feels destined, something they didn't choose, but can't escape. The Moon whispers of confusion, vulnerability, and the fear of being truly seen, because with you, they can't hide behind masks. And the Knight of Cups shows feelings that want to be expressed, romantic thoughts that replay late at night, words they rehearse but never send. This is the kind of energy where someone watches you from a distance, wondering how you became so powerful in their emotional world. You awaken parts of them they weren't ready to face, their depth, their longing, their truth. And that is exactly why they are scared. Scared of loving you this deeply, scared of losing control, scared that once they step toward you, there will be no turning back. If this already resonates in your heart, stay with me, because what's coming next will reveal what they're hiding, why they're holding back, and what their soul truly wants to do about you. When the Lovers, the Moon, and the Knight of Cups appear together for this topic, they tell a story that is deeply emotional, complex, and impossible to ignore. This is not a shallow connection, and this is not a fleeting thought. This combination reveals a person who is emotionally entangled with you on multiple levels: heart, mind, and soul, yet feels overwhelmed by the depth of what they feel. Love is present here, undeniably so, but it exists alongside fear, confusion, and emotional vulnerability. At the heart of this connection stands the Lovers. This card makes one thing clear: the bond between you is real and meaningful. You are not just someone they admire from afar. You are someone who has activated their heart in a profound way. They feel a sense of recognition with you, as if something inside them says, "This matters." With you, they don't feel indifferent. Every interaction carries weight. Every silence is felt. The Lovers shows that they are emotionally invested, even if they don't show it openly. You represent a choice they can't stop thinking about, a path toward emotional truth and real love. But the Lovers is also about choice, and this is where the Moon steps in, clouding that choice with fear and uncertainty. The Moon reveals the inner chaos they experience when they think about you. Their emotions don't feel calm or predictable. They feel intense, confusing, and sometimes overwhelming. Loving you brings their subconscious fears to the surface, fears rooted in the past, in old wounds, in moments where vulnerability led to pain. You didn't create these fears, but your presence activates them because you matter too much to be taken lightly. The Moon shows that they are afraid of being seen too deeply. With you, they feel emotionally exposed. You have a way of sensing what they don't say, of noticing shifts they try to hide, and that scares them. They worry that if they let you get too close, you'll see the parts of them they're still trying to understand themselves. This is why their behavior may feel inconsistent. One moment they're emotionally open, warm, and connected. The next, they retreat into silence or distance. It's not because their feelings change, it's because fear gets louder when emotions grow deeper. This emotional fog creates hesitation, and that's where the Knight of Cups reveals their true heart. Beneath the fear and confusion is someone who feels deeply, romantically, and sincerely about you. The Knight of Cups shows that they don't just think about you, they imagine you. They fantasize about emotional conversations, gentle moments, and honest expression. In their inner world, they already approach you with affection and vulnerability. They rehearse what they'd say if courage outweighed fear. Their heart knows what it wants, even if their actions haven't caught up yet. The Knight of Cups also explains why they move so carefully. This is someone who doesn't offer their heart lightly. Love, to them, is sacred. They want to approach you with authenticity, not confusion. They don't want to speak until they're sure they can stand by their feelings. But because they fear rejection or emotional loss, they hesitate. They worry about timing, about saying the wrong thing, about whether reality can live up to what they feel inside. So instead of acting impulsively, they pause, holding their emotions close, protecting something fragile within themselves. Together, these three cards reveal a powerful truth. You intimidate them emotionally because you awaken real love. The Lovers shows the bond. The Moon shows the fear of losing control. The Knight of Cups shows the desire to love you sincerely. This person is not scared of you as a person. They are scared of how deeply they feel when you're involved. You disrupt their emotional comfort zone. You challenge them to be honest, open, and vulnerable in ways they're still learning to handle. This combination also suggests that they feel you came into their life for a reason. There's a sense of destiny here, even if they don't consciously label it that way. Meeting you feels significant. It feels like a turning point, and that realization alone can feel overwhelming, especially if they weren't prepared for emotional transformation. You represent growth, emotional truth, and the possibility of real connection, and those things require courage. Despite the fear, one message is clear. Their feelings are not shallow, temporary, or imagined. Even when they pull back, emotionally they remain connected. Even when confusion takes over, love doesn't disappear. It just hides beneath the surface. The Moon may delay clarity, but it doesn't erase truth. The Knight of Cups may hesitate, but the heart continues to feel, and the Lovers ensures that the bond itself is genuine. Ultimately, this combination tells us that time and emotional safety are key. As fear softens and trust grows, their courage will follow. When they do step forward, it won't be careless or impulsive. It will be sincere, emotional, and intentional, because with you, they don't just feel attraction. They feel something that could truly change them. And that is why they're scared, and why they can't stop thinking about you. When the Knight of Cups appears for this topic, it reveals a heart that feels deeply but hesitates at the edge of expression. This card shows someone who is emotionally romantic, sensitive, and idealistic. Someone who doesn't love lightly. Their fear of you isn't rooted in a lack of feeling. It's rooted in the intensity of it. You inspire emotions in them that are poetic, dreamy, and sincere. And that level of emotional depth makes them feel vulnerable in ways they're not used to handling. The Knight of Cups tells us that they fantasize about you more than they admit. They imagine moments, conversations, and emotional exchanges where they finally speak their truth. In their inner world, they already approach you with openness and affection. They replay scenes where they confess, where you understand them, where love flows naturally. But when it comes time to act in the real world, hesitation steps in. They fear that reality might not match the emotional ideal they've built in their heart. This card reveals a desire to approach you gently, romantically, and sincerely. They don't want to rush this connection or mishandle it. With you, they want things to feel meaningful. But this careful emotional nature also makes them overthink. They worry about timing, wording, and outcomes. They fear saying the wrong thing, moving too fast, or exposing feelings that might not be reciprocated. And so, instead of moving forward, they pause, holding their emotions close. The Knight of Cups also speaks of emotional sensitivity. They feel things deeply, sometimes too deeply. Your words, your tone, even your silence affects them more than you realize. When they sense emotional distance from you, even if it's unintentional, they retreat inward. This is not avoidance. It's self-protection. They need emotional reassurance before they feel safe enough to step forward. And right now, their fear of rejection keeps them guarded. This card shows someone who wants to offer love, not confusion. They don't want to approach you half-heartedly or without emotional clarity. They want to come toward you with a full heart, honesty, and sincerity. But here lies the conflict. They are still learning how to balance emotion with courage. They know what they feel, but they don't yet trust themselves to carry those feelings into action without getting hurt. The Knight of Cups also reveals that they see you through an emotional lens that borders on idealization. You represent something beautiful, inspiring, and emotionally fulfilling to them. Being around you feels like stepping into a softer, more meaningful emotional space. And because of that, they're afraid of ruining it. They fear that once real-world challenges enter the picture, the magic might fade, or worse, turn into disappointment. This card shows that love, for them, is sacred. They don't express it casually. When they offer their heart, they offer it completely. That's why they move slowly. That's why they hesitate. They are protecting something precious within themselves. Their fear is not that you'll hurt them intentionally. It's that loving you will make them emotionally exposed in a way they can't control. The Knight of Cups also carries the message of emotional timing. This connection is unfolding at a pace dictated by their emotional readiness, not the depth of the bond itself. They are gathering courage, learning how to trust the flow of their feelings rather than resisting them. Even when they seem distant, emotionally they are still connected. Their heart doesn't wander far from you. Ultimately, this card tells us that their fear is temporary, but their romantic feelings are sincere. They want to move toward you with authenticity, not fear. They want love to feel safe, expressive, and emotionally nourishing. And when they finally step forward, it won't be impulsive. It will be heartfelt, intentional, and honest. Because with you, they don't just feel attraction. They feel the possibility of something truly meaningful. When the moon appears for this topic, it reveals a world of emotions that are hidden, unspoken, and deeply tangled. This card shows that their fear of you doesn't come from something you've done. It comes from what you awaken inside them. The moon speaks of subconscious feelings, suppressed memories, and emotional patterns they don't fully understand themselves. You trigger parts of their inner world that they've kept buried for a long time, and that makes this connection feel both magnetic and unsettling. The moon tells us that they are confused by their own emotions toward you. One moment they feel deeply drawn in, longing for closeness, intimacy, and emotional safety with you. The next moment, anxiety rises, doubt, overthinking, and emotional withdrawal. This back and forth isn't manipulation, it's fear. Their heart recognizes you, but their mind doesn't know how to make sense of the intensity. They replay interactions with you over and over, searching for meaning in words, glances, and silences. This card reveals that they are afraid of being seen too clearly. Around you, their emotional defenses weaken. You notice things others miss. You feel shifts in energy they try to hide, and deep down, they know that if they let you get close, you'll see their insecurities, wounds, and unresolved pain. The moon shows a fear of emotional exposure, not because they lack feelings, but because they fear what might surface if they open up completely. There is also a strong connection to the past here. The moon often points to old emotional wounds that were never healed, past relationships where trust was broken, moments where vulnerability led to pain or abandonment. You didn't cause these fears, but your presence activates them. Loving you feels risky because it reminds them of how deeply they can feel and how deeply they can be hurt. So instead of facing these emotions directly, they retreat into silence, confusion, or emotional distance. The moon also shows that they struggle to trust their intuition right now. They sense that this connection is meaningful, but fear distorts their perception. They question whether their feelings are real, whether they're imagining the depth, or whether it's safer to stay in emotional limbo. This creates inner chaos. They want clarity, but they're afraid of what clarity might demand from them: action, honesty, or change. Another message of the moon is secrecy. They don't talk openly about how much you affect them. To the outside world, they may appear calm, detached, or in short, that internally, their emotions move like tides, strong, unpredictable, and impossible to control. Late at night, when distractions fade, their thoughts drift to you. They imagine conversations that haven't happened yet. They wonder how you truly feel. They fear rejection just as much as they desire closeness. This card also reveals emotional illusion. They may project fears onto you that don't belong to you. They might assume you'll hurt them, leave, or judge them, not because you have, but because their subconscious expects it. The moon blurs reality, making them see threats where there are none. This is why their behavior may feel inconsistent. One day they're warm, open, and emotionally present. The next, they pull away without explanation. Yet the moon carries a quiet truth. Fear is not stronger than love. It's just louder in the dark. This card shows that their feelings for you run deep beneath the surface. Even when fear takes the lead, they are learning, slowly, that not every emotional risk ends in pain, that not every connection is meant to repeat the past. But this learning process is uncomfortable, and until they feel emotionally safe within themselves, they will move cautiously. The moon ultimately tells us that their fear is temporary, but their feelings are not. Once the fog lifts, once they begin to trust themselves and the connection, clarity will come. But for now, they are navigating love through uncertainty, shadows, and emotional vulnerability. And the reason they're scared of you is because you shine light into places they've kept dark for far too long. When the lovers appeared for this topic, It doesn't speak about casual attraction or surface level interest. It speaks about a soul level recognition that shakes someone from the inside. This card shows that you are not just on their mind, you are in their heart, their choices, their inner conflict. With you, this person doesn't feel neutral. Everything becomes intense, meaningful, and personal. They feel drawn to you in a way they didn't plan for, and that is exactly what scares them. The Lovers tells us that the love they feel for you is real, mutual at a soul level, and deeply emotional. This isn't about lust alone or temporary fascination. This is about connection, the kind where two people see each other beyond masks. When they think of you, they don't just remember moments. They feel emotions rush back into their body. Your presence awakens something dormant in them, something the other avoided for years or never experienced before. That's why your energy stays with them even when you're not around. But the Lovers is also a card of choice, and this is where the tension lies. They are standing at a crossroads internally. One path leads toward you, toward honesty, vulnerability, emotional exposure, and real love. The other path leads back to what feels familiar and safe, even if it's emotionally empty. Loving you would require them to be brave, to show their true self, to risk being hurt or rejected. And right now, they don't fully trust themselves to handle that intensity. This card shows that they feel emotionally naked around you. You see through them, even when you don't say a word. Around you, they can't pretend. They can't hide behind emotional walls, ego, or distractions. And for someone who has learned to protect their heart by staying guarded, this feels terrifying. Loving you means surrendering control, and they are not used to that. You hold a mirror to their soul, and not everyone is ready to face what they see reflected back. The Lovers also reveals that they think about what if more than they admit. What if they chose you? What if they allowed themselves to fall fully? What if this connection really is as deep as it feels? These thoughts visit them late at night, during quiet moments, when distractions fade. They imagine conversations with you, shared moments, a future that feels emotionally rich. And then fear steps in, reminding them of past wounds, failed relationships, or moments where love cost them too much. There is also a strong sense of destiny attached to this card. They feel like meeting you wasn't accidental. Something about the timing, the way you crossed paths, or the way the connection unfolded feels meaningful to them. Even if they don't believe in fate consciously, emotionally they do. They feel that you came into their life to change something within them, to teach them about love, truth, or themselves. The kind of realization can feel overwhelming, especially if they weren't looking for transformation. The Lovers shows that they are emotionally divided. Part of them wants to move closer to you, confess, choose you openly, and explore this bond without fear. Another part of them is afraid of losing independence, stability, or emotional control. They worry about what loving you would demand from them, not because you ask too much, but because this love would require honesty, consistency, and emotional maturity. This card makes it clear, you are not someone they can take lightly. You are not an option they can casually walk away from. Even if they pull back, even if they act distant or hesitant, the connection doesn't leave them. You have already touched their heart in a way that changed them, and whether they choose courage now or delay it out of fear, the Lovers shows that the bond itself is undeniable. At its core, this card tells us that the fear they feel is not about you being dangerous, it's about you being real. Loving you would mean choosing depth over comfort, truth over illusion, and vulnerability over emotional safety. And that choice is the one they are still learning how to make.